Hello, my name is Josh Salinger, Birdsmouth Design Build, and we're here on a frosty morning in Portland, Oregon. And I love it when this happens because it's a really great time to talk about a concept called radiative coupling. And we can go around and take a look at a lot of these roofs right here, and we can see the frost on these roofs, and we can kind of diagnose what's happening within these homes. And some really interesting building science concepts can apply here. This one here is kind of fun because you can see the sun is slowly coming up and just melting the frost as the sun hits it. And so the shadow is blocking that solar radiation from hitting the roof right there and just causing all that frost. So kind of a easy, simple, fun thing to check out. All right, so the science that's happening here is pretty cool. So since the sky is really, really cold, it couples with the house. So the heat from the house actually is escaping to the sky, and that's what's causing that frost to form on the roofs. And there's a second thing happening here too, is you can see all the melted areas on the roof up there. That's where heat from inside the house is actually leaking and escaping and then melting some of that frost there. So we're seeing two things: the air leakage and that thermal bridging, and the sky cooling down that roof enough to create that frost. All right, this yellow house behind me here has got some interesting stuff going on. So they've got a lot of air leakage, and that's causing all that frost to melt. But you can see around the edges, around the eaves, it's still frosty because it's just cold underneath. And if you look close, you can actually see where the upper gable goes over the lower gable, and there's a little bit of frost that didn't form up there, and that's because that gable has actually blocked the radiative coupling from happening to the sky. So that's created just kind of a break right there. So some interesting science happening there too. All right, so this is the neighbor house right here, and this one's great because you can see the entire roof has frosted over, but if you look closely, you can see just little lines where the roof rafters, the thermal bridging, is causing some of that frost to melt. And I know what happened to this house. They actually went through and did a retrofit and put some closed cell spray foam under the roof decking here. So they've done a really nice job, and this roof is essentially just cold, and that's what we want to see because it's keeping the warmth inside the house and not letting it escape through. All right, well, thanks for joining me. This is a really interesting phenomena that we could see on a frosty morning, but it's good to note that this happens all the time, whether it's a frosty morning or not. And we want to make sure that we're using good building practices to be able to break those thermal bridges and keep that warm air on the inside of our buildings and not let it escape, because that not only is that an energy loss issue, but that could be a durability issue too. So hopefully you found this helpful, and thanks for joining me on my neighborhood walk.